सुहृदा सदृशं प्रसादे तुल्यं तथा महसि तोयजबान्धवेन भ्रान्यां स्थितौ तु पितरं वटमूलवासं संस्मर्यन्तम् अनुस्मरामः.
Before I begin this satsang, of course, uh, I would like to thank and express my gratitude to very respectful, very loving, and heartfelt thanks and gratitude to Sri Lavanya ji, a very sweet person. Always delighted to, hear from him. And I'm very excited always to come to this platform to deliver any kind of talk that arises in my mind. This talk actually uh, was inspired by Lavaniji only, who recommended that maybe you should talk about this 2 days back. And I thought, okay, let me do this. The topic is Antarmukhatvam, which means to bring the mind within and how to bring the mind within. Before I talk, of course, I like to pay the homage to the Guru, Sri Raman Maharishi, the great Guru. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Om Akhand Mandalakaram Vyapatam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Ye Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Let's just close our eyes for a few seconds. Feel the sense of gratitude and love towards this path that we are all in. They say that the rarest of rares realize the importance of self-realization, and amongst them the rarest ones practice Atma Vichara, the path of self-inquiry. So let's express deep thanks and heartful thanks and gratitude to the masters who made it possible for us to sit and dwell in the sense of I amness, the sense of beingness, the sense of self within us. Let's open our eyes now. The topic, as we know, is about the art of directing or turning the mind inwards. What techniques are needed? What are the methods that will enable us, which will facilitate us to direct the mind inwards? But before I talk about how to direct the mind inwards, it's important first to talk why. Why is it even important? Logically, it is very much logical to question that if we are given to understand that the self is all pervasive, is ever existing, is ever present, and at all places, then why is the need for us to go inwards? Is the self only present inwards? Is it not everywhere? Argument is very valid, no? But there is a reason. There are three core fundamental reasons why the instruction given by Bhagavan and the sages and the jnanis and the yogis tell us that we must all try to move inwards. We must turn inwards to realize the self or to realize the Atman. The three fundamental reasons are that we need to remove the three obstructions. The first obstruction is that of the sense objects. Tell me something. When we put our gaze outwards, what are we actually seeking? Be honest. Are we actually seeking self or Atman? What are we actually seeing? What are we having interaction with? And you will see that it is a sense objects. Our possessions, our attachments, the people around us, and the various objects that are given to us in the world, the external world, is an object. And these objects act as veil or obstructions upon the self. So when we are gazing outwards at all times, what we are seeing is not the self. Even though self is present, absolutely, it is all pervasive. But we are not seeing the self. What we are seeing are these objects, all the problems of these objects, and the solutions that we need to do, we need to come up with to deal with these objects, right? So we can say that the first obstruction is of the self or of the objects itself, the sense objects. They act as obstructions or veil upon the self or Atman. Just like the sun is ever shining, but sometimes the clouds come over them, and someone looking into the sky will think that the sun is not present. So it is an illusion. The first illusion is the obstruction of the sense objects covering over the self. The second obstruction is by our own sense organs. So which are the sense organs? They are called jnana indriyas. So the nose, the tongue, the ears, the eyes, the skin. These five sense organs, they are also obstructions upon our our abidance in the self or our realizations of self, because these sense organs are not interested or not trained, are not habitually trained to look for the self. They are habitually predisposed to have an engagement, to have a relationship with the sense objects itself. So when we are small children, we loved the toys, and then we wanted a bike, then we want a car, then we want a husband or wife, then we want money, then we want better bank balance, then we want to think about our health. These are all the objects that come and go in our life, and our sense organs are primed, are basically trained, habitually indisposed to create a deep relationship with how to get connected to these sense objects. They are not trained to find and locate the sense of self. That's a second obstruction. In the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagwan Krishna says in chapter 2, verse 58, Yada samharte chayam kurmugani va sarvasha indriyani indriyarthebhya tasya prajna pratishthatha. Here Bhagavan is advocating that we must try to bring our senses inwards. Senses are always baharmukhi. The gaze is always outwards. It is turned outwards. So he gives the example of a tortoise, that how the tortoise can withdraw the limbs inwards, so should we from time to time withdraw our senses within us. If we develop the ability to withdraw the senses, just like those limbs within us, we become qualified to become one with the divine consciousness. We can gain the knowledge of us, of the self. The Gyanendriyas, which is the instruments of knowledge, which are these five, like I said, the sense organs, they are just termed Jnana. But the real knowledge is not of the objects. The real knowledge is of the self, because that's where we understand, we know what real liberation or mukti is. If we get entangled only with the fascinations that we have with the objects, we will get trapped into them. We always get fascinated by the bulbs, for example. I'm giving an example of the bulb, that we may get attracted by the different shades of bulbs that are there, but we don't see that there is electricity that empowers the bulb to look what it is, how bright it is. Similarly, the sense objects also get all their power from the self itself. But unfortunately, again, our sense uh, instruments of knowledge, the Gyanendriyas, are not trained. They are habitually enforced to develop a relationship with the different sense objects that are there. The third important reason why we must move inwards, try to put our gaze inwards, withdraw inwards, is because of the false expectations that these objects give us. The outer objects, if you're always thinking about outer objects in the world, the external world, what will happen is, temporarily we will feel very happy. joyful, because we'll experience a sense of pleasure in it, undoubtedly so. But you will see with time that one object is then replaced by another one, and then another one, then another one. The objects keep changing again and again, but we don't experience the fullness, we don't experience a sense of completion, permanence of happiness and ananda, because these objects aren't supposed to give you that permanence. There is absolutely nothing again that I am against the objects or any kind of sense pleasures. I am not pointing towards that, or the sages also are not pointing towards that. It is not to be looked or frowned down upon, but we must have an understanding that if our entire pursuit is towards deriving pleasure, then we are going to get very much disappointed that we have seen again and again and experienced again and again in our lives, till a time comes where we feel enough is enough. Why do I feel a sense of lack in my life, irrespective of what I have read and done, or irrespective of how many objects and how many things I have accumulated and possessed? Why am I still feeling unfulfilled? And at that moment of time, real wisdom, real jnana, and you will start to look for answers or remedies within yourself. So, three fundamental reasons of why to move inwards, and why Bhagwan Ramana Maharishi also said, very beautifully, he said, when the mind is turned outwards, it's called the ego. And the same mind, when it turns within, is called the self. So we must take it seriously, like we must try as much as possible to not just always be bahirmukhi, just always looking outside, and always be dealing and engaging and all the time with the objects and things around the world and the external world. We're not to denounce them, we're not to run away from them, we don't have to escape from them. We must include the pursuit of self-realization, self-awakening as the most important goal, because that's the whole purpose of human life, is liberation, is mukti. Now, we now come to, I know we are short in time, so I'll now explain about, let me look at the time. Yeah, okay. So now we'll come to how we have to do it. So there are stages, small, one thing. Please listen carefully to this. First practice is with eyes closed. So whenever you can, during the day, when you are involved in your normal activities, you can simply close your eyes. You can either connect with Bhagwan, or you could just feel the sense of I amness, that you exist and you exist here, you always will continue to exist. Remember, this existence always will be there. Whoever says that your existence will not be there doesn't know. Doesn't know it. Death is just a passing phase. But I'm not talking about reincarnation here of you. That's another subject. That is not what I'm talking about. It's not reincarnating of you. It's the aham, I-ness, I-amness. That always exists, irrespective of the condition of the body. Always will be. So connect to that one thing. That's the only permanent solace within you that you can find, and or anyone that you can devote to, Bhagwan or your Guru or whoever you believe in, or Shiva or whoever, or your gods, whoever you want to believe in. You close your eyes and just feel them, communicate with them. Try to have that relationship as the most important relationship that you have in this world, because everything else will change. They're temporary. They will come and they will go. But you will, this I amness will continue to exist, right? So latch on to the feet of Bhagwan and be with him, or whoever you worship, or you latch on to the sense of I. So that's a first method. The second is with the eyes open. So it is not, as you start to close your eyes and you feel the sense of I-ness. Now during your normal time, during your normal, when you're doing engaging in an activity, the next step is with your eyes open. When you're engaging with activity, at that moment you can probably pause your thought for 2 to 5 seconds, just 2 to 5 seconds. Or you can hold your breath for 2 to 5 seconds. Like if you hold your breath for 2 to 5 seconds, you'll see that the thought also has paused. With the thought pausing, breath pausing, you're immediately brought to the sense of I. Now feel that I-ness just for those 2 to 5 seconds. That's one very beautiful way to continue the sense of to continue the self-inquiry with what you did with your eyes closed. Also, you can do the same thing with your eyes open by just simply pausing the thoughts, or pausing the breath, holding the breath for 2 to 5 seconds at one time. That makes inquiry continuous. Right? You can do that a few times in a day. You don't have to get obsessive. Just few times whenever you can remember. Yes, now it's my time. I can't close my eyes because I have to do some work. But what I can do is I can switch off my thought that I'm continuously thinking. If you realize how much thoughts are pouring in and day out, minute by minute, how much worries take over you, right? So that moment, just put a halt to that. Come to the sense again. You don't have to close your eyes. Just pause, and you will see you back. Again, you have abiding again to the sense of I. Right now, the third method is you don't close your eyes, you don't pause your thought. This is the third stage. Here you come to this understanding. You just simply remind yourself that all of this is an illusion. It's a mithya. It's a dream that you are experiencing. Everything, whatever you're worried about, whatever you're too concerned about, is just a trap. It's just a dream, maybe a bad dream. Just like good dreams you sometimes have a bad dream. It's just a dream, nothing else. So it's mithya. Use mithya buddhi, the path of illusion. This is all maya. It's all false. So stage 1, close eyes. Stage 2, say second practice, open eyes, but pause your thought, pause your breath for some 2 to 5 seconds. And third is use mithya buddhi, illusion. This is all illusion. Make yourself understand this seeking that I'm doing, this worries that I'm indulging in is just mithya. It's an illusion. And if you do that, trust me, you will see to it that things will automatically resolve. But if you fall into fear, if you fall into any kind of panic, you're establishing a very strong habitual pattern of the ego, right? The mind will become obsessive about worrying. So prevent yourself from doing that. Use the third stage, which is mithya buddhi. And now I come to the fourth. Here there is no practice required. Here the self holds you. Rather than you holding the self, or trying to close your eyes and holding the sense of I am, or you trying to pause the thought or the breath for a duration of 2 to 5 seconds, or you even pointing out to this mithya of the world, none of that, no effort, nothing, no practice. It becomes effortless knowledge when the self itself holds you. It's like the substratum, this awareness that from where you have come, you realize this is who I am. It's a strong knowingness that cannot be shakeable by or moved by any form of external events that may happen. It's just a strong belief. It's just, I can't call it a belief. It's just inner evidence. You can say that you have got the evidence of who you truly are, and then you are unshakable, unmoved by whatever happens into the world. You're not a recluse. You are in the world, but you are like a person who's inwardly in vairagya, not outwardly, inwardly detached from everything. And that would be the fourth stage, which is not a practice, which is where simply the mind is moves deeply, becomes the self, knows that it is a self. Okay, and at that moment of time, there are experiences which I don't want to go because it will condition you. But I can just tell you that time is there's a knowledge about you being permanent. There's knowledge about permanent joy, uninterrupted happiness, and ananda, joyfulness. Yeah. So I think in this time, I think already 12 o'clock now. So I think I may have exceeded my time. Again, apologies for that. But if there is room for a question or two, I'm willing. Otherwise, we leave it to Lavanya ji or the admin who is here to decide. Yes, Lavanya ji, to you.
Yeah, now we'll start the question and answer session, Q&A. Srimati Malini Viswanath.
Yes. Okay. Wonderful.
Would you like to have some
Namaskaram.
questions? Oh, yeah.
Namaskaram, Lavanya Rao Garu, and Namaskaram, Rajiv Kapur Garu. I wouldn't say as always, but each time we have your pravachanam at our satsang, I get a feeling that we are also moving quietly and silently with you in this journey, and each time the words of wisdom that flow of you, as Lavanya Rao Garu rightly said, you are such a distinguished guru, and that's also transpiring across, because today when you took us so lucidly and so comprehensively from the fact that how our sensory organs and the senses thereby are predisposed to be looking outward and perceiving the outward world. And then you took us to the four kinds of practice. And now, talking about the fourth practice, the latter part of your pravachanam first, so wouldn't that be a state of having acquired some siddha? So while being in this world, while perceiving the objects as they are, by also being part of the mundane world with our activities, with our relationships with children and parents and whatever we carry through the process of a life's journey, the fourth stage of the self-controlling, that's, of course, it's a state of joy, as Bhagavan says, and grace always flows, and as beings we are contented and we are joyous beings. But isn't that a state which comes after some tapas, some
Yes.
I wouldn't say practice, because practice is a small word.
Yes. Yes. You are absolutely right. That's why I started with the first three practices. Is
Okay.
you can't skip these basic three practices. You will have to start with eyes closed first because of the distractions that the sense organs and the sense objects present to us. So naturally we'll have to first close our eyes and feel either Bhagwan's grace, because grace is always there, like the sun is always shining, but it's not something that we appreciate it. We take it for granted, right? That's how it is. So first we need to develop a sense of gratitude, at least, that yeah, there is something flowing for us, because we are in a state of self forgetfulness, right, all the time. So to remind, we need to first remove the distractions that our sense organs present. So that would be like, what Bhagwan Krishna says is to bring the limbs of the tortoise, how the tortoise brings his limbs within. You bring your sense organs within. So the sense organs, Gyanendriyas, turned inwards, and that time we will experience a sense of an awareness that which will feel like it's always there. It's always continuously there. We just have to then connect to the stream of awareness that is always ever there. It's that way is very simple but difficult. It's simple because you can recognize it immediately, right? At this moment, for example, even speaking, even when you're all here in this completion, in this total, in this presence of all of us, we actually are experiencing a sense of happiness and joy, isn't it? A peace of stillness, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's always there. It's just about pointing out that, okay, here. So the first step would be always about closing your eyes. The second would be, because we are so disposed to, again, thinking, we need to also put a pause there. So it's not just objects that we have to move away for some time. Not all the time, sometimes in a day, whenever we can remember, close our eyes, set. But also when we are, also there is something, the objects, the thinking is also going on within us. That thinking also needs to be paused for some time. So I would say, don't do too much of it, 2 to 5 seconds whenever you can remember. So you're doing your dishes, or you're doing working on the computer, or you're even playing with your children, or talking to your parents. Maybe for some time you can just stop the thought and just appreciate the void, the feeling of I'm without a thought. Like, here I am, oh, I am without a thought. Now that is not a small thing, I would say. If you practice it, it builds up. So slowly, as we build up to these practices, as you said, the fourth stage, then the fourth stage really comes. Where we can then we are helplessly, held by by Bhagwan. We are helplessly held by the self, held by the self. He just, then he does never forsake us. But for him to hold us, we need to make an effort. Absolutely. It's somebody who says that no effort is required at all in self-inquiry is deluding himself or herself, actually. So yeah, you need to do all the 3 steps. Absolutely.
Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much, and truly value your presence at our satsang, and hope to be partaking of these pearls of wisdom more often whenever Guruji is free. Thank you once again on behalf of all the satsang.
Thank you for this question. It's a very beautiful question. Yes.
Thank you.
So any other person wants to ask some question? Please raise your hand. Prudhvi Sai wants to ask some question. Okay. I will unmute you, please.
Namaskaram, Guruji. I'm Prudhvi from Karnool. Today only I joined.
Sorry, can I get your name, please?
Prudhvi, sir. Prudhvi. I sent email.
Prudhvi Sai.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, Prudhvi. Tell me.
Guruji, when I am in the sense of I am, my focus or concentration shifts towards the chest area. Bhagavan said that we should not concentrate at any particular point, but when I am in the feeling of I am, the focus or shifting towards the chest, sir. Is it the correct practice, or
it is a very valid pointer what you have just said, that your attention draws back to the I am. The I am actually is in the area of the chest. So Bhagavan also has said this, in fact, that when we point to the sense of I, like when you say I am going somewhere, right, you never point to the legs that actually walk, right? You never point out to the head that moves, or to the eyes. You always point the finger to the area of the chest, correct? He himself has said that. Now, so obviously the origin from where the I am actually expresses itself, from where it originates, is always going to be the area of the chest. However, having said that, what he also says is don't make it as an object, right? Don't make it like how people, because many people especially from the yogi, because I was in the Kriya Yoga tradition, and of course I know the yoga systems also. There is a chakra called the Anahata chakra, the heart chakra, correct? That also is in the chest area. Is it not true? Yeah.
Yes.
So from there, the experience of Anahata chakra, it gives you the experience of expansiveness and love. But what Bhagwan is actually pointing out is something even prior to that, prior to the chakra, prior to energy. See? So it is to remove the confusion that it is not a focus or a concentration on a particular chakra or a center. We must simply come to the where we can feel the I. Where do we feel subjective I? Where do I find that this I is arising from? So, for you, for example, now that you already know that it is around the chest, right? I'll give you a very simple thing that you can do. At night, when you go to sleep and you wake up in the morning, right? Don't get up instantly from the bed. For some moments of time, observe at that time, just as you're opening your eyes and you're making this transition from sleep to waking state. There is a brief interval, a little slight time, right, where you are still not awake fully and still not into the sleep state. You're in between the state, right? We have seen that. Everybody have experienced it, right? Catch that state. Try to hold that state. I'll give you one hint here. It will speed up, and this is for everyone if they want to try it, but especially for Sai, because he already knows that there is a sense of I that pours from here, right? So what you can do is, when you're waking up from your sleep, don't wake up with a jerk or be in a hurry to go for the mobile or to get for your coffee or just for some moment of time. You can just start, or don't even start the mantra. Just simply observe where this I is coming, how is this I arising, and immediately you will come to know that it is from that area. And to more precisely, some people say right hand side of the heart, right, which is what this, but it's not right or left in terms of anatomy. It is not like a right side only or a left side only. It is something that you can say is from where it feels like this, it appears to be like this. It's an appearance. It's not what really the self is. You see what I mean? What I'm saying? It's like when I said that the self is everywhere, but we can't. But most of us can feel the self more predominantly when we go within, right? Correct? In the same way. So it's not that the self. So what Bhagavan is saying is, don't make it like an object. Oh, I must focus and concentrate. It's not a concentration. It's abidance. There's a difference between focusing and concentration or focus versus abiding in it. So you become one with it. You don't take it as an object. It is a subject itself. Right? So that way you merge into it, you sink into it, you relax into it. So in very simple words, practically what I would say is relax into it. Rather than involving your mind into it. Oh, this is where my I is. I need to go deep into that. Don't do that. That's what Bhagavan is warning against. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Bhagavan is saying, become that. Don't chase that. Become that. So there's a difference between becoming something and chasing something, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So you just sink into it, you just relax into it, you just melt into it. That's the beautiful thing about self-inquiry. That's what the real meaning of self-inquiry.
Sir, in some books, I read that what we call the ego I am travels from the heart towards the head. So somebody said that first to abide in that sense of I am in the head, then travel towards heart. As I felt it difficult, sir, when I practice this to abide in the self and in the sense I am, I feel that somewhere in the chest area. So you said that it is right. So
Are you quoting one of my own satsangs? Because I gave one of the satsangs like that. Exactly. So are you telling about me?
no, no, sir, because I send you email because I am struggling since 3 months on this, sir. So I'm totally confused,
No, no,
sir.
no. See, don't be confused. Don't be confused. See, I tell you what. Some people don't be confused. I understand where you're coming from, and this is the problem that can happen. What you have arrived at is a direct abidance into the sense of I. Okay, so you don't have to go to the third eye or to Sahasrar in the brain. Okay, so this is how it happens. So when you wake up from your sleep, the eye travels at the speed of light, 1 millionth of a second, goes up into the brain. Okay, and from there it spreads into the thousands nerves, millions of nerves that we have, the nadis that we are. Okay, there are thousands and thousands of nadis, nervous system, right? It spreads from all of that, right, and into the body, giving us the illusion that this is I am the body. Okay, so understand how it works actually, right? So sometimes what happens is some of the people, including I in the past, did recommend that you come to the brain first, and from the brain you, because bring all the energy into third eye or sahasrara, because I have a yogic treatment, I have a yogic background also. Okay, so
Yes.
there are many people who have very strong third eye center, very strong. In fact, I have come across so many people who believe that the eye actually exists in the eye and the third eye, not in the heart. Okay, so that also is there. So if you ask those people where the eye is, they will say when they close their eyes, I feel it is in my brain, the sense of existence, not in the heart, which is different from your experience. Is it right what I'm trying to say? Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Two people's experience is going to be the same. Okay, they're going to be, this is the beauty about self-inquiry, and that's why I say that do self-exploration more. If you read this, read that, and you start to follow this words, that words, you get very much confused exactly what is happening.
Yes,
So
sir.
you need to know why first, why this happens. When the energy is moving upwards into the brain, naturally people who have got very strong energetic presence, they'll experience it in the third eye, not in the heart. The people who are more feeling oriented, especially women, they will experience it more in the area of the heart. I'm not saying men will not. I'm not saying men will not. Mostly if you see, because women are more emotional, feeling oriented. Correct? It's a very simple thing. Men are more logical, rational.
Yes. Yes.
That's the difference between those two. One is more practical. I'm not saying women are not practical. So don't get me wrong. This is the problem, language. But what I'm saying is, predominantly, this is how it is, right? So if you're having an experience in third eye, that moment I said, yogis who believe that Sahasrar is the final attainment, as Bhagavan also said, they must not think that way, that is a final self-realization. Self-realization does not happen in the Sahasrar. It then has to move back into the heart from there through a nadi called as Amrita Nadi.
Yes.
That is a very subtle form of Amrita, a nadi, a nerve, which is called the Amrita Nadi. So that moves from the brain, from the behind, right, where the medulla is there. From there, it takes a curvature, comes back into the heart. So
Yes.
I don't want to get too technical but I have to explain it in that way, but you get what I'm saying? For
Yes,
those,
sir.
I said, yeah, now you don't have to go to the third eye or sahasrara, because your eye you have already intuited, perceived the sense of eye in the area of the chest and the heart. So you don't have to do that. Okay, so don't get confused. You're perfectly fine in the right place.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, this is what happens when people don't have the guidance. What we should do. Uh, and that's why I also suggest some there should be some perspective, some knowledge of yoga system also, because people who have no yogic knowledge also will be able to understand how energies work. And many of the Advaitins I see, they have absolutely zero knowledge about yogic systems, and so they don't have anything about what energy is and what Anahata Chakra is. They get confused all the time.
Sir, Guruji, can I ask one little bit question?
Yeah, I mean, if time permits, I don't know, Lavanya, what do you think? I'm okay. If he permits.
Sir, is it also correct to see the nature of I am? Means what is the nature of this ego I am? We can look at like that, sir. Is it called also self-inquiry?
How do you mean nature of the I am?
Means what this I am? What are the characters of I am? What is this nature? What is there in that I am? I'm looking for that. Is there anything in the I am? I'm looking for that.
So Sai, you tell me, when you connect to the sense of I, what do you think? What do you think? Do you think or do you feel?
Okay, sir. When I look at the I am, I feel that about my personality. And I look deeper. There is nothing in that I am, sir.
Yeah. So stop looking at the I am.
Okay.
One thing I would say, instead of looking for the I am or looking at the I am, because that will bring you thought again. It will become a form of seeking. So
yes.
you are still seeking it, like the way you are seeking objects. So that's why you want to know about the nature of the object, for example, right?
Yes.
So it's again, you're involving the mind here. Instead of seeking it, looking for it, just become one with it. A subjective awareness is self-inquiry, not objective awareness. Subjective awareness. I am this I amness. I am that I am. Okay? You are that. So now you tell me, what is your nature? If you remove thought, if you remove any thinking, what is your nature, my dear? What do you feel? Do you feel it?
No.
In this moment, in this moment, do you feel yourself or no?
Yes, I feel.
What do you call that as? What would you name it? What would you term it as? What would be the experience of it? Say something.
I feel I am, sir.
That's it.
Yes.
Perfect. You got it. There you go. So there is no requirement to have any other qualifications. All qualifications belong to objects, not to the I am.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank
you. Welcome.
जय मंगलमणि पाडरे सारसाक्षुलु जय मंगलमणि पाडरे सारसाक्षुलु प्रियमलरग श्रीरमण जय रमणा जय जयनि जय मंगलमणि पाडरे सारसाक्षुलु కలనాదంబునతనూలు జలధరింపంగా సలలిత శృతిహితవాకుల విలసిల్లెడు గీతముల కన్నుకు మిన్నై జలదిడు కాంతి రూపుని సన్నుతులను సన్నతులను సంతసమునగా ఇంపుచు జయ మంగళమణి పాడరే సారసాక్షులు